Welcome back to Chapter 9, Climatic Types. Today we're going to talk about mid-latitude steppe and pairie. Steppe is a Russian term for dry grassland that is cold in winter. That is minus 30 degrees Celsius and hot, 35 degrees Celsius in summer. BSK in Köppen's classification. It occurs most extensively in southern Siberia, Mongolia, Tibet, and northeast China, but also in the midwestern United States, where it is called pairie, and in Patagonia. The annual rainfall is between 250 and 600 millimeter, most falling in summer convective events. Winter snow cover is generally thin but may cover the ground for weeks to months. Figure 9.9, which is this one, shows the annual cycles of temperature and precipitation at Lincoln, Nebraska. Well, I live in Manhattan, Kansas, so it's close to us. We do have some precipitation variations and temperature variations, so it's a lot greater, okay? And we have Karagana, Kazakhstan. So we see temperature variation, but we don't see much precipitation variation because it's further inland and the Tibetan plateau block the moisture. So steppe areas are typically located in continental interiors, remotely from moisture sources, or are in the lee of major mountain ranges. So here is the Tibet plateaus. They are susceptible to large interannual variability of rainfall and to periodic droughts. The Dust Bowl years of the 1930s on the United States Great Plains are a good example. We're going to talk a lot about the Dust Bowl. So, people in New Mexico, Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, and Colorado all know about Dust Bowls. So what is Dust Bowl? In the 1930s, the Midwest of the United States experienced a severe and protracted drought. For the entire growing season, April through August, the precipitation total during the Dust Bowl years was the least in 160 years, but equivalent to that in the mid-19th century in northeast Kansas. This was a period of massive dust storms, which caused major agriculture damage in the American and Canada prairies, primarily from 1930 to 1936, but in some areas during until 1940. These conditions were due to the combination of severe drought and decades of extensive farming without crop rotation. The deep plowing and killed the natural vegetation that normally kept the soil in place and trapped moisture even during dry periods and high winds. Tons of topsoil were blown off barren fields and carried in storm clouds for hundreds of miles. So the driest region of the plains, southeastern Colorado, southwest Kansas, and the panhandles of Oklahoma and Texas, became known as the Dust Bowl. But the entire region and eventually the entire country was affected. Millions of acres of farmland become useless. Soon, hundreds of thousands of people were forced to leave their home. The Dust Bowl exodus was the largest migration in American history. Within a short period of time, by 1940, 2.5 million people had moved out of the plain state, Plains states. Headed primarily for the West Coast, in 1933, President Franklin Roosevelt established governmental programs designed to conserve soil on the Great Plains. Additionally, the Federal Surplus Relief Corporation was created to stabilize pricing of agriculture commodities and distribute food to families nationwide. Roosevelt also ordered the Civilian Conservation Corps to plant a huge belt of more than 200 million trees from Canada to Texas to break the wind, hold water in the soil, and hold the soil itself in place. By 1937, education programs were set up to teach farmers about soil conservation, and by the following year, the conservation effort it had reduced the amount of blowing soil by 65%. However, it will be 2 more years before the drought was over and farmers could once again grow crops. Taiga barren forest distribution of the taiga and boreal forest biome and its ecoregions. The boreal forest is the largest terrestrial biome covering almost Canada, southern Alaska, much of Scandinavia, and Russia, where it is known as the taiga. It covers 14.5% of the land surface. The climate is subarctic DF with a wide annual temperature range and especially severe winters. The lowest temperatures in the northern hemisphere are recorded in the river basins of northeastern Siberia. Yukoslavsk is the coldest city in the world, with January mean temperature of -40 degrees. A northern hemisphere record low temperature of -71 degrees Celsius was established at Uyako in the Yana Valley. Winters last for 5 to 7 months with substantial snowpacks, and much of the ground is underlain by permafrost. In central Siberia, permafrost depths exceed 1,000 meters. Summer lasts only 2 to 3 months, with mean temperatures above 10 degrees Celsius. Annual precipitation is relatively low, generally 250 to 750 millimeter, with 1,000 millimeter in some areas, primarily falling as rain during the summer months. In summer, low-pressure systems on the polar front regularly cross the boreal forest zones of Alaska, Canada, northern Europe, and Russia. In winter, however, northwest Canada is frequently dominated by high pressure, and in eastern Siberia there is a shallow but intense and persistent cold anticyclone. The Siberian High, Scandinavia, and West Siberia experience both traveling lows and heights. In Canada, the boreal ecosystem atmosphere study was carried out during During 1994 to 1996, results demonstrated the low forest albedo, only 0.08 in summer and even with winter snow cover around 0.25, and the fact that one-third of the study area had been burned within the last 25 years, as reported by Slellers et al. Low rates of evapotranspiration were observed, 2 millimeters per day, despite the high fraction of lakes in wetland. Sensible heat fluxes exceeded latent heat. In Eurasia, there has been a wide range of studies under the Northern Eurasia Earth Science Partnership Initiative. Bird et al. Demonstrate changes in snow cover during 1966 to 2007. There has been an increase in mean snow cover depth in Yakutia and in the Far East. The winter average snow depth has maximum trends in northwest Siberia. Mean snow depths for the period with permanent snow cover increased considerably over the 4 decades from 10 to 35 centimeters at Dukings and from 30 to 60 centimeters at Turukaski, both in Yakutia. Tundra means treeless in Lapp, Finland, and this zone ET, according to Coben, occurs north of the tree line in Arctic Canada. Arctic Siberia, the Siberian Islands, coastal Greenland, around the ice sheet, and in Svalbard Alps. Tundra is found in high mountain areas worldwide at altitudes that range from about 5,000 meters in equatorial latitudes to 6,000 meters in the tropics and around 3,000 to 4,000 meters in mid-latitudes, declining to near sea level in high latitudes. The vegetation is mainly grasses and low vascular plants, with shrubs occupying shelters locations in the southern part of the zone. Winters are long and cold, while summers are short, with temperatures around 5 to 10 degrees Celsius. In the polar regions, the sun is below the horizon for 6 months of the year. In winter, temperatures are around negative 25 degrees Celsius to negative 30 degrees Celsius, except when low-pressure systems bring warmer air masses from the North Pacific or North Atlantic. So it's beautiful tundra in Siberia, and we have some in the national park in Canada. And the mean monthly temperature for alert on the north coast of Ellesmere Island in stark contrast with the South Pole Station in Antarctica. Most of the limited precipitation falls as rain in summer. Annual precipitation totals are between 150 to 250 millimeters in high latitudes, but greater in Alps environments. Winter snowfall amounts are low, and snow depth range from about 600 to 1,600 millimeters. The region is wind-swept, and blowing snow is common in winter. Snow melt is rapid in June as a result of the long days, and the ground thaws to depth of 30 to 100 centimeters above the permafrost table. In consequence, the ground is frequently waterlogged. Permafrost is continuous beneath most of the Arctic tundra and has typical depth ranging over 100 to 600 meters in Arctic Canada and Siberia. Ice plateau. We're going to talk more in next video.